Welcome to the Farmers Union Insurance Pregame Show. I'm Lauren Hill, and I'm joined here by Edward Nieman and Ken Oda, and we are getting you ready for Game 3 of the 2-weekend series against St. Cloud. So this past weekend, we played St. Cloud. We're playing them again this weekend, but this weekend is different because we are back in the Mesa Arena for 2 whole weekends. Edward, we saw them during our home opener weekend. Do you think the vibe is going to be the same, or just the turnout, everything?
Absolutely. I think, Toro fans have really shown up well this year so far, especially coming off that big win last time we were here against Bismarck in a shootout. I think the fans are ready as the Great River rivalry rolls on. So I'm excited to see this Norsemen team and 2 really competitive teams so far this season.
Awesome. Well, let's take a look back at last weekend, that weekend split against the Norsemen back in that Saturday night game.
Yeah, that Saturday night game, another competitive contest. We saw the Friday night game, just a lone goal was enough for the Tauros to get a win. Really back and forth action on Saturday night. Norsemen got out to an early lead. It was Sammy Crane getting the Norsemen on the board with a lead that would hold all the way into the third period. The Tauros did a nice job scoring 2 unanswered goals to gain a 2-1 advantage over St. Cloud. St. Cloud answered. The contest went to overtime, and the Norsemen got out of there with a win. Tauros, though, do a nice job fighting back, picking up 3 of 4 points on the weekend.
Yeah, 2 goals from defensemen. Ty James and Adam Mahler net the goals for the Tauros on Saturday night. Maybe something to look at for this weekend. Offense from the back end. I think if anything, we talked about it on the pregame show last Saturday. The Tauros, I didn't think did a good enough job of taking away Leedon's eyes. A little bit better job on Saturday. That's why you're getting those goals from distance. So something to maybe go to school on if you're the Tauros to get ready for tonight's game.
Yeah, well, talking about tonight's game, let's turn our attention back to that, and let's look at the updated Noodles numbers brought to us by Noodles & Company of Minot. So our current record as the Minotaurs, we are 8-4-1, currently standing at 5th in the division, as St. Cloud is 9-3-1-2, standing at 2nd in the division. As we said, we played them multiple times this year. This is our 5th meeting, and our goals per game ranges about 3.08 goals per game, as they range about 2.66. Goals against, we have 1.83 for us, as they have 2.43.
Yeah, I think the numbers favor the Tauros. The results in the series favor the Tauros. 2-1-1 Tauros pick up 5 points so far out of a possible 8. So, the series has leaned the Tauros' way, and I think a big part of why, on average, Tauros are outscoring their opponents by a goal and a half a game.
Yeah, both teams really good goaltending. As we mentioned, Lucas Fedin had a great outing on Friday night, pitching the shutout, 25 on 25 saves. We'll talk a little bit more about kind of the lack thereof shots on net from both teams in the defensive battle last weekend. But definitely Tauros doing a nice job this season, both putting the puck in the net but also keeping it out.
Special teams also playing a key role as we look at the bottom half of the Noodles numbers. Power play is about even for the 2 teams, but the Tauros penalty kill 7th in the league, 89.47%. St. Cloud only killing 83% of the power plays that they've faced. I think last weekend that didn't come into play much. There weren't many penalties either night. Different officiating crew this weekend. We'll see if that trend continues.
All right, well, heading into our Minotaurs Booster Club players to watch, I'll throw it to Ken to start with his choice of tonight's player.
I'm going with Ian Spencer. If there's a guy you're going to pick to have a big game at home, I think it's Spence. He loves playing in front of the home crowd. 4 games so far this season. Not just the goal and 3 assists here in the building, plus the shootout winner that doesn't count towards his goal total. 17 shots on goal in 4 games in this building this year. Ian Spencer, like I said, loves to play in front of the home crowd.
Yeah, Lauren, I'm also going to go towards the offense as well. I'm taking Jesse Uhala, both the goal and point leader for the Tauros. Hasn't scored in the last 4 games, which I know it sounds crazy, but the start that he got off to, it almost seems like there's been a lack of scoring, even though I believe he has 8 on the year so far. So you look at that Saturday game that the Tauros played against the Norsemen on home opening weekend. Tauros were looking to rebound. It was Jesse Uhala who netted a goal under a minute into that game and got the Tauros going, and they didn't look back, didn't give up that lead. So I think if Uhala can net one early, much like that Saturday game when we saw St. Cloud in the building, Tauros will be in a nice position tonight.
I agree. I really like your pick there, Edward. I'm going to go with Brandon Funk. In the last 4 games against St. Cloud, he has produced 6 shots on goal and 1 assist, but he has yet to score this year, and I think that's going to change within this series this weekend, just because, again, like we've mentioned, we played the Great River rivalry multiple times this year already, so he's gotten used to just their play style and everything, and I think that it's going to come this weekend.
Yeah, an experienced player playing junior in Canada the last few years. Now that he knows the opponent, certainly has the ability to pick his spots.
Do you like my pick there, Ken?
I do.
Okay. Well, that will bring us into our home key group keys to the game. Ken, what are your keys for tonight's game?
The first one, just pull the trigger. Toros, 2 games last weekend, a combined 39 shots on goal total over the weekend. Don't see that from this group often, usually over 30 shots a game. So pull the trigger, shoot the puck, which leads to my second key I touched on a little bit earlier, get some traffic. Lead saw the puck way too easily last Friday night in St. Cloud, and really for the first 2 periods on Saturday night. So get more traffic in front of the net, take away his eyes, make it harder to see. We saw Ty James, Adam Muller score goals when there was traffic in front and the defensemen were pulling the trigger. And my final home key group key to the game, get going. It's been 2 weekends here at the Mesa, 2 slow starts. The Thursday game against Bismarck, the Friday game against St. Cloud in the home opener, where the other team scored early and the Toros found themselves in a hole and weren't generating much. And the place is packed. The crowd here is looking for an excuse to explode. They're looking for an excuse to get loud. Give them one and get going early.
Yeah, Ken, and I think, those were some of the things we also talked about last time the Toros were in this building. I mean, it sounds simple, but the more shots you take, the better likelihood you are to netting a goal. And I think that also goes with getting the crowd into it. If you're just taking shots on net, you're getting opportunities, getting the crowd into it. If the Toros get a couple close looks and really get this home crowd into it, I think it'll really do well for them this weekend. So.
All right, Minotauros fans, it's time to take out your phones and pull up the Toros mobile app for your chance to win prizes throughout tonight's game. With our 4 Bears Sportsbook over-unders, our first one we have is total Tauros defenseman goals. Are we going over, under, 0.5, guys?
Well, I've talked about it a lot on today's pregame show. The 2 goals last Saturday from defensemen. I think that's going to be a key. I'm taking the over.
I'll take the over as well. Ken mentioned it, the Toros' 2 defenseman goals. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. If you see a vulnerability and you were able to attack it last weekend, why not do it again this weekend?
I agree. I'm going to go with the over again, just like y'all said. You took my points. We had some defenseman goals last week. I think it's just a given to go with that. Our next one is total Tauros goalie saves. Are we going over, under 29.5?
I'm going to take the under on this one. I know we talked about, both teams wanting to get more traffic, more shots on net, but I do think we're going to see a similar game to last weekend in a lower shot total, and leading to lower goalie saves. I don't think it's necessarily the puck's going to be going in the net, but I think maybe just overall lower shot total.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Toros are going to do a better job of limiting shots against Lucas, so I'm going to take the under here. We haven't seen a lot of teams get to 30 shots on goal on the Toros, so I'll go under.
Well, I was going to go over for this one. I'm going to go under now based on what y'all said. Obviously Lucas has seen many of things, and if you see on our Instagram and the graphics that we post, he's an absolute beast. But I'm going to go under on this just to save him the work for tonight. And our last one, we have total not shots just in general. Shots on goal, 27.5 over under. Oh yeah, it is me. I'm going to go over. I want to see just a lot of chaos happening in the Mesa Arena just this weekend in general. So I'm going to go over.
I'm going to go under on this one. I think, just based on what I've said, it was a lower, offensive battle last weekend. I think Joe Exter has done a really good job fundamentally with this Norsemen team, especially defensively, keeping the puck out from the front of the net. So I'm going to take the under.
I'm going to go the other way. I'm taking the over. I think, we're out of the MAC in St. Cloud. No more low ceiling, no more low glass. I think that stuff helps contribute to limiting offense. Also, I know looking back after last weekend, just 39 shots on goal, I'm sure the message to the boys this week was they needed to get more pucks on net. So I would look for the Toros to shoot a lot more tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and take the over on the 27.5 shots on goal. That'll bring us to our McDonald's Toros trivia question. This one, very trivial. Which Toro went to state for tennis in high school? So Yeah. Well, your options: Ty James, Chuck Owens, John Small, or Connor Toohey. Which Toro do you think made their state high school tennis tournament?
I don't know if this is as much of a guess because I've a process of elimination with this one. I'm gonna go Ty James. I think he has the build for tennis, and I think he also has the mentality for tennis. So I'm gonna go with Ty James.
Yeah, total shot in the dark here. I'm going to take Connor Toohey. I just think I haven't talked a whole lot to Toohey recently.
Southern California kid,
so
warm weather. Yeah.
That makes sense.
I'm going to take Toohey.
I was thinking of putting in an easy one and putting one of the Euros in. Just not that Euros don't play tennis, but they couldn't have gone to a state tournament. But you know what? I decided to make it a little bit harder. Put 4 American kids in there. So get your guesses in, and you can win a free lunch from our friends at Dakota Drive McDonald's.
All right. And with that, do y'all have any final thoughts just going into tonight's game against St. Cloud?
I think you have 4 points behind these guys in the standings. You took 3 out of 4 points off them last weekend, but because they got the win, they picked up 2 as well. So you really only picked up 1 point on them last weekend. A weekend sweep at home to start a 4-game homestand could really put the guys, in a good place, not just mentally, but literally in the standings. They could jump up quite a bit depending on how the other games go. St. Cloud's in second place. It makes a big statement towards the rest of the league. You look at the other teams in the division. We haven't gotten to play Watertown. We haven't gotten to play the Mallards. Everyone that's ahead of us on points has gotten to beat up a little bit on the expansion teams. We're going to get our run at them later. If you can keep yourself towards the top now, you can really go on a run in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I know I sound like a broken record, but that middle pack in the Central Division so far is really tight. 4 games here at home for the Tauros. Big home stand, at least, I guess, contextually compared to the rest of the season. 2 weekends at home is a big home stand, so I think the Tauros will take advantage this weekend, and if they can, I think you can see them climb up the rankings.
All right, and that will do it for the Farmers Union Insurance pregame show. Now we'll turn it over to Josh Carlock for tonight's starting lineups.